A nourished body provides a strong physical foundation for a resilient brain and positive state of mind. Similar to the specific fuel for your car, your body needs specific nutrients to meet your biochemical needs. Each part of your car needs to be properly fine-tuned and oiled, just as you must fine-tune the food, sleep, and movement in your bodily machine. There's truth to the saying, you are what you eat. The food you eat metabolizes into tiny molecules that go on to form brain chemicals, such as serotonin and dopamine. Without the proper building blocks for these brain chemicals, you may feel exhausted, anxious, or just not yourself. With a few modifications to your diet, it's easy to supply your brain with the healthy nutrients it needs to feel focused, joyful, and able to deal powerfully with your life. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to emphasize that this week is not about dieting or losing weight. Instead, it's about understanding your relationship with food so that you can get the most out of each meal. You can be proud of yourself when eating healthfully while still allowing yourself the space to be free of guilt if you eat a sugary treat or salty snack. One meal or ingredient does not indicate a poor diet or reflect anything about you as a person. Throughout this week, remember that self-care begins with being mindfully aware of what your body truly needs. With the increased prevalence of Western diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, there has been a parallel rise in depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. How are these seemingly different medical conditions related, if at all? If we look at what's in the Western diet, it makes sense why it can be detrimental to our mental health. The SAD diet, or Standard American Diet, is extremely palatable, high-caloric food packed with ingredients that we cannot pronounce, added sugars often disguised by names we've never heard of, and excessive amounts of fat. Our society is inundated with foods that are engineered to activate areas in our brain responsible for cravings and addictive behaviors. To make it worse, this type of food is deficient in colorful, gut-nourishing fruits and vegetables, high-quality proteins, and healthy fats. Chronic stress is ubiquitous in the modern world, and when paired with a Western diet, the inflammatory consequences are detrimental to the intestinal lining. The combination of stress, sugar, additives, and unhealthy fat elicits irritation and damage to the intestines, bacterial imbalances, increased toxin levels, and immune dysfunction. All this is to say that when we're eating poorly, our digestive system is taking a hit, ultimately contributing to negative feelings in the brain and the body.
Did you know that there's an association between sugar intake and hormone levels? You see, when you eat sugar, which can come in many forms, that sugar is converted to glucose. Your body then takes the glucose and raises a hormone level in your body called insulin. High insulin plays a role in the conversion of tryptophan to serotonin, which are neurotransmitters that can affect mood. For example, when insulin levels are high, there is less conversion of tryptophan to serotonin, and low serotonin levels can lead to depressive symptoms. This is what brings us to this week's tip. Today, I will show you how to identify hidden sources of sugars which may be raising your insulin levels and affecting your mood. Sugar can come in many forms as a name: glucose, fructose, sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin, the list goes on. As you can see, there are many different names for sugar. It's important to familiarize yourself with the various names, especially when you're reading nutritional labels. So what do you think? Are there hidden sugars in other food items you eat regularly that you may not have realized? Take a look at some of the labels of foods you may eat on a regular basis and let us know.
Although depression is likely a combination of integrated influences, there is enough evidence that diet and sleep have profound effects on the brain and behavior. It's not a surprise that the Western diet is associated with increased rates of depression. But the good news is that depression can be reversed with a healthier way of eating. Researchers found that a fiber-rich Mediterranean diet can indeed be an effective treatment and preventative measure for depression. When participants ate meals with fresh produce, minimally processed whole grains, legumes, and fish, pronounced changes in mood occurred without pharmaceutical intervention. A Mediterranean-like diet contains a variety of dietary fiber, leafy greens, and omega-3 fatty acids. Fiber-rich foods are called prebiotic foods. They feed the probiotics, or gut bacteria, which maintain a healthy digestive ecosystem. These gut bugs are crucial to our emotional well-being. They must be fed and nourished because many of them produce the brain chemicals and vitamins needed for mood and emotional regulation. To function well, the brain needs nutrients, such as magnesium and folate, both of which are abundant in leafy greens. Some nutrients found in fatty fish like salmon provide fuel that the body cannot make on its own. These essential omega-3 fats, which must come from food or supplements, are critical for brain health and fluidity of brain cells. For these reasons, eating nutritiously is a form of self-care and is completely attainable when approached with the right mindset. So, how might you begin changing the way you eat? Perhaps start by understanding what might be a healthy breakfast, lunch, snack, or dinner. A healthy plate, which may look different from person to person, starts with a foundation of freshness and minimal processing. It includes foods that are found in nature, rich in color, and high in vitamins and minerals. One way to recognize the influence of food is to observe how you feel when eating a primarily plant-rich diet with protein as a condiment. Challenge yourself to construct a healthy plate at each meal, using the basic template of half a plate of colorful vegetables, a quarter plate of legumes or grains, and a quarter plate of high-quality protein. The plate should have a variety of colors and textures. When your plate looks like a rainbow, you can be confident that you're eating an assortment of phytonutrients, vitamins, fiber, and minerals. It's okay from time to time to have a celebration meal or have a treat. Don't measure your success on the basis of any one day or meal or ingredient. Instead, see your next meal as an opportunity to do your best. If you bring attention to your overall eating patterns and make small conscious tweaks, you're already creating a sustainable eating practice. Treat this week's practices as an experiment in getting to know your body and how it responds to food. Does your mood feel lighter? Has your digestion been better than usual? How do you feel if you skip breakfast or have a late dinner? Do you eat because you're hungry or for another need, like boredom, tiredness, or sadness? Try to notice how meals are affecting you by tuning into your body before and after eating. Regardless of what happens, health begins with self-love, so be gentle with yourself in this process. Sometimes you may be unsure of what your body needs to feel good, which is where the familiar practice of noticing and naming in the mood and activity diary comes in handy. Ask yourself, what foods make you feel good? Can you reflect back on times you were feeling exhausted and what foods you were eating? Try paying special attention to your food and mood in the diary this week. This quick assessment can help you identify foods that make you feel unwell and those that make your body feel good.